Welcome into the bunker of General Gridiron, Field Marshal of football forecasting. We're about to map out the way this college football weekend is gonna go. Will your favorite team be marching to victory, or will the enemy be taking your battle flag? The leaves are starting to fall, cotton's ready for picking, and the action on the battlefields of pigskin glory are really starting to heat up in this fourth weekend of gridiron greatness. So grab your helmet and man those battle stations. We're ready for another round of General Gridiron's football foretelling. Wisconsin and Michigan State. It's a colossal clash of two old-school bashers when the number 11 Badgers head to East Lansing to run straight into the powerful phalanx of the number 8 Green Spartans. Bucky has been vicious against the run, shutting down the mighty Panthers of Georgia State last week, while the ancient Warriors from Michigan are coming off a battlefield rout of the Fighting Irish. Look for the mighty Greek Warriors to pierce the line of the Maulers from Madison. The Generals victor, Michigan State. LSU at Auburn. It's cat-on-cat action when 21 guys and Leonard Fournette head to the prettiest village on the plains. Coach Malzahn's house cats haven't been purring on offense, or defense for that matter. Meanwhile, the Hat is trying to stay one step ahead of the Executioner in Baton Rouge, where the gumbo is spicier than the Bengals' offense. Call this one the Hot Seat Bowl, and look for the boys from the Bayou to deep fry the Plainsmen on their way to buying less another paycheck. The Generals victor, LSU. Washington at Arizona. The top 10 Huskies have hunkered down for the cry of mush and pounded each of their first 3 dog treats they've lined up against. But the cold-weather canines leave their cool kennels for the first time this week and head to the cactus farm called Tucson. After losing a close contest with the Stormin' Mormons in Week 1, the dusty felines were able to bounce back against Grambling State as the North Louisiana Cats wilted in the dry heat of the Southwest. Look for the hungry Snow Dogs to chase the Wildcats from their rocky perch and enjoy the taste of sun-dried pussycat. The Generals victor, UW. Georgia at Ole Miss. It's glory against Dixie in the Grove when the worst 3-0 team in the country faces the best 1-2 team in the country. Nick Chubb has powered the Hairy Dogs past Titans Nicholls State and Mizzou in consecutive weeks by a combined total of 3 points, while Ole Miss lost the high ground with losses to number 4 Florida State and number 1 Alabama in heartbreaking style. Ole Miss can reconstruct its season or get burned to the ground by the Athenian Animals. In this one, Chad Kelly pummels Uga with footballs, and it ends up a lot to a lot less. The Generals victor, hotty-toddy, Ole Miss. Pittsburgh at North Carolina. The Steel City Stunners continue their southern tour as they grind into Chapel Hill. The Panthers bring a 2-1 record to North Carolina, where the basketball-crazed Tar Heels have figured out a bit of offense and not of the pick-and-roll variety. Pitt looks improved, and James Conner powers through all sorts of obstacles. But sticky feet is simply too much for the Yens at home, and Carolina Blue rolls. The Generals victor, UNC. Florida at Tennessee. Hide your kids, hide your wives, hide your liquor. It's alligators and hound dogs along the Tennessee River in this annual overrated rivalry. Since 1916, the reptiles and coonskins have smashed helmets, but not until the early 1990s did this game reach Rocky Top heights. This year, the number 19 Toothy Terriers from Gainesville have shown their bite strength on the way to being 3-0, while number 14 Smoky looked mangy against both App State and Ohio. The Volunteers from East Tennessee have big hopes and big hype, but McElwain's Gator defense death rolls the poor pooches. The Generals victor, Florida. Still to come on this week's college football forecast. Will the 3-0 Arkansas Razorbacks continue their impressive feeding at the trough against Kevin Sumlin's Aggies with aspirations of their own? And the Cal Bears storm into Tempe with an angry gunslinger and a bevy of speedy receivers. Can the Sun Devils slow them down? Keep it here. General Gridiron will be right back.
Because you want more flavor, at Nuke's we marinate and grill to perfection. Because you want the latest culinary tastes and trends, we never rest. At Nuke's, great food drives us. So we are meticulous in our preparation, obsessed with the quality of our ingredients, and uncompromising about serving you our very best. We believe that sharing a memorable meal is one of life's ultimate pleasures. Join us at Nuke's Eatery.
Howdy, soldiers. This is General Gridiron back with you. Each week, this fabulous football forecast is heard on some of the finest radio stations all over the land of cotton, including WHEP AM 1310 in Foley, Alabama, the voice of Baldwin County since 1953, and 1310 AM KEZM in Lake Charles, Louisiana, sports radio for Southwest Louisiana. We appreciate all of our radio affiliates. Now, let's get back into the football fight. South Carolina at Kentucky. Looking for a good seat at an SEC game this weekend? At Kentucky, just come on down and pick the one you like. The 1 and 2 Wildcats are always counting the days until the Hoopsters storm the court, but these days they spend their Saturdays counting at home. Last week, the Cocky Cocks from Columbia squawked by a Pirate team from a Carolina that doesn't even exist, the Eastern one. A claustrophobic stream, wide open spaces will be aplenty at Commonwealth Stadium, and while you're stretched out, look for the Bluegrass Boys to slip past the Funky Pheasants. The Generals victor? Kentucky. Oklahoma State at Baylor. Jim Grobe has no idea who's in his locker room, and Mike Gundy has no idea who Jim Grobe is. The Know-Nothings are back from the 1800s just in time to play a football game. Pistol Pete swaggers down to Central Texas looking for the Waco Kid, but nobody knows who's going to wander onto the field in a Bears uniform these days. Despite the dark cloud over McLennan County, the Baptists still have some guys that can outrun the storm for a bit longer. Baylor avoids the return to the end zone tarp and shoots down Okie Light one more time before the Brazos River breaks over its banks and swallows the Bears' short-lived glory. The Generals victor? Baylor. Arkansas at Texas A&M. The Hogs squill down from the Ozarks to the Brazos Valley to take on a top 10 fighting Texas ROTC troop. Midnight yell practice on Friday will be interspersed with the high-pitched call of the Hogs, but the swaying masses in College Station will still march their way to the spacious confines of Kyle Field. Head hog Brett likes to gather his pigs and charge forward slowly, while old Sarge prefers to sling the tanned pig husk around the yard. Pig suey is Revelie's favorite dish, and she always gets what she wants from the Corps boys. The old Ags go on a hog hunt, and there's no limit on pigs in Texas. The Generals victor? Texas A&M. California at Arizona State. Sun Devils thrive in the heat of September, but the NorCal Bears have already braved the muggy southern thickness of Austin. Coming off last year's wild rodeo in Texas, the Cal Bears turned in a surprising 8-second ride last week, defeating the coach-carrying Longhorns, while Sparky had to lean heavy on his pitchfork after struggling with the Alamo Dome Roadrunners in San Antonio. Todd Graham's Legion scored 68 against the Marauders from Lubbock during Week 2, but gave up 55. Meanwhile, former West Texas gunfighter Davis Webb now leads a confident group of speedy Bears into Tempe. The Devils' run game will hex the Cal defense, but the flamethrower from Texas runs a similar offense to Texas Tech. And you know what that means? 7 levels of points. The Generals victor? Cal. Well, those 10 bowl picks are sure to keep you on the edge of the lazy boy all day Saturday. But hang on to your helmet. There's more around the corner. We'll be back in a moment to wrap up this week's General Gridiron with our rapid-fire picks. This is General Gridiron back with you. We've already maneuvered through this week's frontline college football showdowns. Now it's time to fix those bayonets and storm that field with our rapid-fire football forecast. Michigan pounds Penn State. Alabama blasts Saban's alma mater, Kent State. Stanford plants its tree at UCLA. Southern Miss bounces back at UTEP. Nebraska shucks Northwestern. Florida State Tommy Hawks South Florida. Minnesota downs Colorado State. East Carolina vexes Virginia Tech. Boise State rides past Oregon State. Harvard outsmarts Brown. Houston wallops Texas State. Chattanooga sandwiches Samford. Wake Forest demonizes Indiana. West Virginia beats BYU. Air Force drops the bomb on Utah State. Louisville destroys Marshall. Memphis pounces on Bowling Green. Massachusetts upsets Mississippi State. Notre Dame survives Duke. And Western Kentucky is victorious against Vanderbilt. Well, troops, you can now put your swords back in their scabbards. We're all out of picks on this Week 4 edition of General Gridiron. We'll be back again next week. Same General Gridiron time, same General Gridiron station. So don't forget to tune us in on the radio, Facebook, and on YouTube TV. And don't forget to tell your friends all about the show. Just search for General Gridiron. This is John Rawl, the General of Gridiron Glory, thanking you for letting me be a part of your football weekend. This show was written by Matt Heermans. General Gridiron is a production of CRM Sports. For more, log on to crmsports.com.
That'll be all.